Hey everyone, welcome back. For those of you who are new, my name is Drew Soman. I'm a freelance concept artist and illustrator, and I am here with a breakdown of one of my lighting and color studies. Not too much commentary this time, just going to highlight the parts of my process I think you guys will find interesting or useful. Okay, let's get into it. I began by finding references I thought would fit the beachy, sunny vibe I was originally going for, but instead I kind of just used them for their color information. I distilled common colors from the references and turned them into a palette that I extended both in value and in chroma, and I tested out how they would look under a gradient map that mapped them to be both blue and red to make them more coherent together. Once I had these colors in place, it was time to get started. I began, as I normally do, with a sketch phase. In this case, nothing too detailed. I'll be handling the majority of the detail work during the painting phase. This is just to give me the general composition. I kept with a triangular structure with the character's hair flowing off to add more dimension. I used the colors from the palette earlier to block in the basic lighting scheme I wanted for this piece. I went with a half-lit character, almost as if she's watching the last vestiges of sunlight come through a dusky sky. I really enjoy this time of day, and painting it is super fun. Once I finished the base coloring, I could get the structure of the piece into place by starting to paint in some of the values and the turning of the forms. I use the Liquify tool to quickly adjust some of the facial features because I wasn't really happy with where they were. The Liquify tool is a really useful way of making edits that don't damage your painting too badly. It's super quick, super easy. Just use the regular push tool. There are a few others you can use, like the bloating and shrinking, but I tend to stick with just the push tool to get things where I need them to be. Once the proportions were where I wanted them to, I got back into rendering. You'll see here I'm doing a draw over. The reason I do this is if I am lost or if I haven't planned out something and I need to delineate a little bit, I will end up just doing a draw over. It doesn't take too much time and I can't recommend it enough. It's a really good way of helping yourself reestablish old anchor points or to find out new information if you decide to change your mind in the middle of a painting. I went with a simple billowing dress with a band cinching the chest. it was enough for the scope of the painting. Once I had a good idea of where I was supposed to go, I went back into doing more rendering. And of course, the draw over was on a separate layer, so I could turn it on and off as I needed. For the material of her dress, I decided to go with a simpler approach. I used an angled brush with transparency to give the impression of overlaid lace work, that there were two fabrics involved. The approach was pretty straightforward. I just used the brush to delineate the basic shapes within the pattern of the material and then turn the form using different values as needed. After the lace work, it was just a matter of polishing up the areas I deemed necessary and doing some final touches. So I'll let the video play out and I'll catch you guys in a wrap up. And we are done. This was a really fun study to do, and I hope that if nothing else you take away from this video, you're inspired to do some studies or practices of your own. They're super helpful. They can be super fun if you plan them out properly, and you can only benefit from doing them. If you got to the end of this video, I hope you found it useful. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, and if you want to see future videos, hit the subscribe button and ding the bell. Also, check out my Twitter and Instagram pages for updates, art, and other fun stuff. I've been Drew, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you again soon.